Hello and welcome to Wisdom Words with Margaret Emery. I'm your host, Margaret Emery. Today we're going to be speaking about personal life philosophy and what we gain along the way in our life experience. We're going to be speaking about core values and how to handle challenges and how to find meaning and purpose in your life. And I'm so excited to welcome our guest, very special person, Susan Wands. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Margaret. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Susan is a lecturer, a writer, and performer who has appeared on stage in movies and TV. She's written and produced indie films, plays, and will have the second of a series of historical fiction books based on Pamela Colman Smith, who is the mother of the modern tarot deck, published in May 2024. And I can personally vouch that it's a marvelous series because I read the first one, Magician and Fool, and I urge any of you to go to Amazon or where books are sold to purchase it because it's a wonderful read. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for being here. Anyway, let's jump in. And I'm going to ask Susan 3 questions. And the first question is about core values and principles, and what you would say is the cornerstone of your personal life philosophy, and perhaps any experience or events that might have led to adapting it for yourself.
Well, I pretty much adhere to Isabella Rossellini's philosophy, is that happiness is good health and a bad memory. Because good health, of course, means good mental health and the ability to take things on. And a bad memory, to me, means letting go of grudges, letting go of expectations, letting go of things that hold you back.
Yes.
And if anybody was able to surmount the things that happened to her, from great success to being vilified on the Senate floor, it's Isabella Rossellini. And so she has always sort of stood out to me as a person of reinvention, and a person who overcame obstacles and yet pursued her great passions, her great loves. And to me, that is the cornerstone of my compass.
Yes, it's kind of like a balance between the passion and realism and letting go and knowing when to reach for it, but really being flexible and adaptable.
Absolutely. And for me, I think you get to a certain point where you've had enough experience where it should inform you, but it also shouldn't hold you back. Because, kids are fearless. They jump off a cliff, they try new things. I don't want to play the flute, now I'm going to play the clarinet. Oh, and now I'm a tap dancer. Oh, that didn't work. And as we get older, we sort of go, loser, why can't I stick with anything? And yet, I think that's the wonderful thing about being creative and being alive. The challenge is to keep exploring and to keep pushing the boundaries of what you think you can do.
Yes, yes. And, it's so easy to kind of feel complacent and to sit back and to, find a level and say, oh, this feels good. But then, you wonder, well, what's on the other side? Where can I go? Or, to stay enthusiastic and interested.
And I've worked with some really great directors who, when you're an actor on stage, they're always asking you to take risks.
Yes.
And they're encouraging you to do things that aren't in your comfort zone.
Yes.
Bill Macy, who directed this production of Amorphous George that I was in Philadelphia, his motto at the time was no guts, no glory. And I think that's really true. I mean, you don't necessarily always want to be reckless, but there comes a point where if you're in your comfort zone, you're only ever going to stay in your comfort zone.
Right, right. You can't get there from here unless you make the leap to there.
Yes, and it's the same with staying in shape, right?
Exactly.
You have to push yourself to the very limit of what you think your capacities are, and then you build tolerance and all sorts of wonderful things. But it's going past what you feel comfortable with.
And try not to get injured along the way. That's a good one, too. Oh, yes. Marvelous. That's a wonderful, fabulous insights. Now, the second question, thank you. The second question is, how do you handle challenging or difficult situations? Do you have a mindset or a particular approach?
Well, I'm very goal-oriented. You know, as a Libra, I really love balance. I love a spreadsheet. I love a calendar. To me, in terms of dealing with how you get through these events, it's having enough things lined up so that if there's one disappointment or one catastrophe, you go, okay, life goes on.
Right.
You know, next, you know.
So you have a lot of irons in the fire.
Yes, and a lot of them are half-baked irons. But the whole idea is that, you know, life is a big buffet. You know, and I'm a big proponent of you don't have to excel at everything, but you should try as much as you can in this lifetime. It's so short, so fleeting, and
we don't really have that perspective when we're in it all the time. So it's good to kind of keep that in mind, because anything can happen at any time.
Right.
And you don't want to be one of those people that say, gee, I wish I could have, or I wonder what, I wonder if, blah, 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 blah.
Yes,
So to really kind of gear yourself forward and to look at life as a buffet. I love that. Right. I like buffets. I like tapas. I like tapas a lot.
Yes. Little things. Wine.
Oh, definitely. Well, you have to have something to, you know, blend it all together.
That's right.
That's wonderful. Thank you. That's great. I'm going to use that.
Great.
I'm going to steal that and use that.
Excellent.
And now the third question in this life philosophy chat. It's a big one, but I started with a simple phrase, a simple question. What gets you up in the morning? Like, what gets you out of bed in the morning? I.e., how do you find meaning and purpose in your life? You know,
unrealistic goals. That gets me up in the morning, because I realize if I don't get up and get going, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so, but with that means accountability.
Yes.
And that only comes with community. So I think in order to propel yourself forward, you have to insert yourself with other people. You know, whether it's competition or taking a class or being a mentor or any other number of things. Mm-hmm. These goals cannot be reached alone. Mm-hmm. You know, eventually you have to insert yourself, unless you're a painter who creates their things and then just has other people sell them for them. I think that's one of the few ways. Even being a writer now is not a solitary profession. Right.
You have to really, you know, use the social media to get your stuff out there, self-promote. It's not just, you know, this idea of being in a room in the attic, and
right.
Of course you do that.
Right.
You have to, you know, you have
but
to
you
write.
Have to participate.
You have to participate.
If you're going to write about something that you're really passionate about, you have to really be prepared to, you know, weather the slings and arrows of feedback. So.
Yes. And also, it could be interesting to you, but how do you make it interesting, or how do you show it to be interesting to other people?
Right. You know,
because you can write and preach to the choir.
Right.
But you want to gather new folks. So there's always that challenge to, it's interesting to me, but how do I communicate it? How do I share my enthusiasm? And that's community.
Right. And what is the magnet? And I think the magnet is the investment that you become an expert in something. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to say, I have opinions, I would like to rally people around me. But the thing that you have to give to the world takes time to forge.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of, you know, young people who are old souls that came in with, you know, some particular life philosophy from, you know, maybe other lifetimes. But, you know, you have to live your life. And experience is such a good teacher,
right,
that it really helps to form whatever philosophy. And it's good to have a philosophy. It's good to kind of know what you believe, where you stand, and of course everything can be changed. You know, we're all adapting. But I love that idea of community and contribution, because no man, no woman is an island, and you know, you find great satisfaction and fulfillment in contributing,
right,
and reaching other people, animals, sentient beings,
right,
trees,
right. Well, and talent can be quite a wonderful instigation, motivator, and a poison at the same time, because especially when you're young and talented,
right,
you have all these gifts to give, but it needs shaping, and it needs to see if society is ready to appreciate and tune into your gifts. And I think now there's just a lot of resistance to having participation in your talent. You know, because we have these immediate talent shows. America's Got Talent. You've Got Talent.
Right, all the reality, and then it throws things off kilter.
Right.
Because it's all ego oriented, or a lot of it is ego oriented, and there's so much pressure put on results rather than the process and rather than the skills. Right. And you can really blow out your voice if you want to make it the loudest voice in the room, and then you have damaged vocal cords that you can never really get over.
And the same with dancing. You know, it's such a huge thing in terms of respecting your gifts and getting the best mentorship to make sure that your talent and your gifts are in a slipstream that they can thrive.
Yes, and they're sustainable, and they'll be with you long term.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wow. This has been such a great conversation. Yes. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Thank you very, very much for all your insights and your wonderful outlook. And thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel, Wisdom Words with Margaret Emery, and comment, like, share this video. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time.